Well, 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 folks, we have yet another mass shooting here in the US. Can you believe it? I mean, what is this, the fourth or fifth this week? Let's get into this. I really think this is worth a conversation. I've been talking about this off and on for the past couple months in regards to quote unquote gun control and all these quote unquote gun laws that they want to pass and all these laws, okay? But yet, Illinois happens to be one of the strictest gun control states in the country, okay? So clearly, that is not working. But we're going to go ahead and get into that today. I'm also going to get into respecting folks' feelings. I did watch Tiff P's show. I love her. Shout out to her. And I got into the show, and I wanted to bring up a portion of the show that she talked about in the viewer comments. So let's go ahead and get into the morning show. I'm going to go ahead and play about a 5-minute timer, and then we're going to go ahead and get right into the show. Grand rising, all my loungers. I hope you guys are doing as great as I am today. Shout out to all of you who are in the clouds and those of you who will catch the replay. What's up, R&T Entertainment? I appreciate you being in the building as always and always tuning into the show. I just wanted to talk a little bit this morning about this mass shooting that happened yesterday on July 4th. Okay. I mean, I just thought it was absolutely crazy that this would happen on such a day. And even though I don't celebrate July 4th for many, many reasons, number one, I don't think it really is truly a day of independence. I think all the bombs bursting in the air and all that stuff gave proof through the night that we were captured people, okay, and that our land was taken, and that our people were pillaged, and that our women were taken and murdered. This is what that day represents to me. Okay, so when we talk about the land of the free and the home of the brave, well, who is brave when you have to come and take things by force? Because that's what happened on July 4th if we're truly celebrating this quote unquote independence. So, what's amazing to me is that on the day of quote unquote independence, somebody actually jumps out here and takes the life of people celebrating such a mass murderous day. You understand? Like, I don't get that part of it where, the pain and the anguish comes in. To me, it just sounds like those chickens are coming home to roost. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, this is like the fifth or sixth mass shooting this week in the country. But the crazy part is there was four of them, at least four mass shootings on July 4th. Now, a mass shooting is, according to the government and according to co- uh, these um, these companies and these programs that actually study such things. A mass shooting would include four or more people that are killed or injured during a shooting spree. Okay. So basically, in this year, there has been 250, at least 250 mass shootings in America, okay, alone, just in 2022. Usually that's about a yearly thing, which is crazy because that's even high for a yearly or annual thing. But for this to be the month of July and already this many shootings is happening, it makes you wonder why. You said, I did wonder, hey, Living Life, you said, I did wonder what the celebrations was for. I need to research about it. Hey, Living Life, I appreciate you being in the building. Yeah, so the celebrations usually come about where people just don't know their history and they decide to just go ahead and celebrate this quote unquote 4th of July, as an Independence Day, when in actuality, no one became independent. They took our land. That's what happened that day. It's a horrible day in America, and it's a reminder of the painful way that America came about. And this is what people don't talk about on a mass scale. People want to kind of hide that portion of it. But see, in my family, we're natives. Okay, so we talk about this all the time. This is something that we always bring up, and we don't celebrate the 4th of July. Well, the Jehovah Witness ones never do anyway. But even on outside of that, and in our family, in our Black Native family, we do not celebrate the 4th of July for that reason. Okay. So, yeah, to me, I just find it ironic. I mean, I don't think it's funny. I think it's horrible what happened. I don't think, that, and sadly, the people that are experiencing this type of pain on yesterday are the ones who are casualties of our past, casualties of what really happened in this country. It's time for us to open up these conversations. It's time for us to really talk about this because this young man, this Robert Crimo, he's full of anger, he's full of hatred, he's full of pain, and I'm not trying to give him any type of okay to what he did. I'm just saying it's time for America to really look at itself in the fucking mirror. Okay? You've got all these kids that because he is my son's age, okay? and the previous shooter at at the Uvalde, the previous shooter at Buffalo. They are all my son's ages. You understand? So what is going on here? Like, when are we going to finally say, and look America in the mirror, put a mirror to America's face and say, this is how you created this democracy, quote unquote. You created this land with hate. You created this country on defense and on carrying out some kind of defense and protection of what do you need to protect if you're not doing anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I need America to really look at how America was acquired, how the 4th of July started. This is not some beautiful, great, massive, wonderful land where everybody gets along and everything is wonderful and everything is peaceful and everything is great. It is not like that. And we have to stop pretending that it is. America, if we want to keep America and we really want to do something about this, we are going to have to clean this up from the foundation up. That includes that crazy ass Constitution. And I'm not saying that the Constitution has to be completely taken away and we have to just get rid of the government. I'm not saying that. But I put a lot of ideas out in regards to local government, in regards to protecting our local communities, and putting those ideas and resources together to create a safer America. Because what we've had and how we are trying to keep relying on this federal government to handle all this is not going to work for America. It clearly is not. All these laws and all this stuff is not going to do anything to help this country. Because guess why? There are illegal guns everywhere. And you think America is not making money off of those illegal guns? You think if they had a way of stopping that, they wouldn't? If it wasn't actually profiting them, like, stop it. I'm gonna need y'all to take y'all heads out the sand. Stop pretending that throwing some laws out here to protect us is really gonna work. This is not what we need. Because regardless of how many laws you pass, like I said, Illinois has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Illinois. So clearly gun laws do not work. Okay? All this extra stuff, this background checks and this is not working. Because that is not really the problem. See, guns are not the problem. You understand? Mental health is not the problem either. It is the foundation of how this country was created. And the anger, the embedded anger in these children because of what because literally because they are brainwashed into everything that they believe. Everything that's on the internet, the shit that be on the internet in the US is so different from what the hell you could look up somewhere in another country. It's not even funny. Y'all should go ahead and get yourselves a VPN and go look at what other people are looking at. And then look at what the US is looking at. Right now, I'm working on a documentary between the US prison system and other prison systems in other countries, and how the US prison system is intended to keep people in the prison system, all for money, and how other countries don't have that same system, even for the same types of crimes, even for what they claim in the same type of countries, the same type of the same type of democracy. You will have the same types of crimes, but the US has a massive number of people incarcerated that other countries do not. Mass numbers. You can even compare the states to other countries. I can take Delaware and compare Delaware and the incarceration rate in Delaware and compare that to other countries. and the rate is higher in one state than it is in other countries. And I'm going to show you guys that in a future video. But it's just amazing how crime all connects together with the prison systems and then all connects together back into the streets. And then you've got the government in between, pretending one thing and saying something else, pretending behind the scenes that they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that for the American people. They're telling you that in front of the scenes, but then behind the scenes, they're actually the ones involved in the whole thing. They're actually the ones that's pushing the funding into the policing systems, which are pushing the funding and the guns and the drugs into the communities, pushing and pushing propaganda on the internet, pushing anger into these children, getting them into these internet groups, and they're talking back and forth with each other. And these are agents literally in these internet groups pushing these agendas of hate and then putting them out on the street to kill people in mass numbers. Look it up. Where the hell else in the world do you see this? Where? Tell me. I'll wait. I will wait. Because while you're telling me that, while you're telling me that, there were 250 plus mass shootings this year alone. On July 4th, there was a mass shooting in Boston, Massachusetts. On July 4th, another mass shooting in Sacramento, California. On July 4th, a Highland Park, Illinois mass shooting, which everybody knows about that one, right? On July 4th, a Kansas City, Missouri mass shooting. On July 4th, another Chicago, Illinois shooting. On July 3rd, Manassas, Virginia. July 3rd, Mullins, South Carolina. July 3rd, Surprise, Arizona. July 3rd, Tacoma, Washington. July 2nd, Clinton, North Carolina. July 2nd, Hampton City, Texas. July 1st, New York City, New York. July 1st, Chicago, Illinois. July 1st, Greenwood, Mississippi. This is July alone, y'all. Like, are you freaking kidding me? A mass shooting would be 4 or more people shot or killed at one time. And like R&T Entertainment said, all I can say is the Kyle Rittenhouse effect. Everybody and their grandmom is out here murking everybody. Because they made it okay. They made it oh freaking K. And now them chickens is coming home to roost. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do? I say they because we should have a plan. You understand what I'm saying? See, we cannot rely on that. This is what I mean. I'm not talking about some radicalized getting out here throwing bombs and Molotov cocktails at the White House. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what are you going to do about your local government and your local communities? What are you going to do about taking up arms and protecting your own people and your own communities? What are you going to do? Are you going to just let them keep pumping these drugs and these guns into your streets? Are you going to keep letting them do this and keep letting this stuff happen? Keep throwing in propaganda all over the internet? Or are you going to keep knocking these agents out in these streets? Like, what are you going to do? Because that's what you need to do. Or else you're going to see mass exit after mass exit after mass exit every single day. It's only, what, July 5th? It's only July 5th, y'all. I named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 mass shootings in 5 fucking days. This is crazy. This is what we should be talking about. Y'all want to talk about stuff that's irrelevant to the people. This is what we should be awake to. This is the kind of stuff we need to be discussing with our children, with our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, our neighbors, our pastors, our family, our friends, our church members, whatever. We need to be having these discussions because everybody is at risk. Everybody. Nowhere is it safe until we make it safe. We got to do it. Who else going to do it? Who else is going to do it? Who are y'all waiting on? Because I'm not waiting. I can't afford to wait. You can't afford to wait. How many more do we need to have? Like there has been at least 38 mass shootings since the Uvalde shooting. Since those poor babies were killed in Texas. 38 since then. Only in the US is this happening. This is not happening anywhere else. No matter how hard y'all try to pull this up, try to find it, you are not going to find that because it's not happening anywhere else. Yeah, I think there's some political parts to it, but I think it's much deeper than that. I think it goes down to the core and the root and the demonic spirit behind the whole Constitution to begin with, behind how the foundation of America was built to begin with is demonic. And that demon needs to be dealt with first. And then we could move forward and do whatever, and kumbaya and all this other stuff, if that's what we are choosing to do. But America needs to deal with the facts of what really happened here on this soil, across this land. Not just on the west, not just on the east coast, not just on the west coast, across this land, all through Tornado Alley where it's cursed. Yeah, where the spirit runs through, all through that needs to be cleansed spiritually. Is deep. There's a lot that needs to be done, and it can be done. But it's going to take the people to do it. We got to stop relying on these folks. Cause they just doing this shit to keep a job. if y'all didn't know, they just want y'all to reelect them. That's it. They're not going to do anything. Do you understand? Because there's nothing they can do. Because truth be told, the power is in your hands. It's not in their hands. It's in yours. These mass shootings keep happening because we allow any and every motherfucking thing to come in and up out of here. Anything could be going across our internet. It don't matter if it's true, false, fake. It don't matter. People can just get anything, any type of propaganda. Any type of porn, any kind of, you name it, you want it, you can get it in America. Anything goes. And that's why we continue to have these types of situations. And like I said, the power is in the hands of the people. But what are the people willing to do? Are we going to keep sitting around, keep crying, keep going to funerals, keep begging the Lord to do something about it? Or are we the people going to get up off our asses and do something about it? Us, quote unquote, law abiding gun owners, quote unquote, law abiding. Because what law are we abiding by? Because abiding by the law allows this. So, what law are we abiding by? It was a time when gun ownership was a sport. It was a thing that you just did. It was something people had. Many parts of the country, you have to own guns for the sake of protecting your property and protecting your family, protecting your home, because you live so far away from any law enforcement. So it's you that's got to protect yourself. It's you that's got to protect your property. Unfortunately, in a land where this is the environment that we it was created in. So now this is what everybody has to do. Okay, so be it. So guns aren't the problem per se. Gun ownership is not the problem either. But it's the foundation and it's the muck that's allowed to run amok in these streets, on these internet streets, and everywhere we turn. And you turn out people like this, people who are full of anger, full of hate, and they can't even go back and begin to see where that began. They just lonely, depressed, not getting proper care, and sitting on the internet and getting fed propaganda day in and day out and day in and day out. And yes, if you look at research, there's lots of research out here that shows the effects of like Instagram and certain other programs, certain other apps on the mind, especially young impressionable minds. So this, as long as we have this kind of stuff happening, we're going to continue to have these mass shootings and these painful things happening. Let me go ahead and get into some of the comments, and then I'm going to get into respecting feelings. You said, I did wonder what the celebrations was for. I need to do more research about it. Hey, Breakin, I appreciate you being in the building. You said, okay. You said, hey, Josephine, I appreciate you. You said my son was born that day. Oh, okay. July 4th. Well, happy birthday to him. Happy born day to him. You said, so I celebrate his birthday. That's what's up. A lot of people do on July 4th. They celebrate, if their birthday's that day. But I just don't celebrate July 4th. Yep, and like I said, the Kyle Rittenhouse effect. You said my aunt and cousins in Miami were celebrating, and I bet they don't know what they were celebrating as they wasn't born in the U.S. Yeah, a lot of people who were not born here or are not foundational Black Americans, or they don't really um, they don't really know the what really happened with that, and then there's this story of this Native American story that's so watered down and so washed down with not true Native Americans of the land, you know what I mean, that once once you really hear what really happened, you don't want to celebrate that holiday at all, because it's mass homicide for real. You said, I heard the British set their constitution. Is that true? they took some some things from the British. They definitely did because they were British people. Originally, there were some British folks that came over. So yes, they took some things from Britain, and created their own stuff with it. But yeah, Kamala, yeah, there you go. You said the Biden crime bill incentivized new jail systems, billions in grants for private jails. Exactly, and that's why, like, it's an entire business, basically. They make very good money off of keeping people in prison in the U.S. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how they're doing that. And I have evidence of it. I've seen it. I've seen exactly what's happening in other countries with prisons, and what's happening here. And I'm going to break it all down in a documentary. Yeah. hmm Hey, keeping it plain. I appreciate you being in the building. You said good morning, chat and mods and host. You said sounds like more money needs to be invested in human resources. For example, child services, housing, education, what they spend the people taxes on. Girl, we're gonna break it down. Definitely gonna break that down in this prison industry, this prison system thing, and how it's literally a business. And how why and how they're continuously doing that, and how Americans are kind of lulled to sleep on a lot of this stuff. So I'm definitely going to get into that and why this stuff is continuously happening. You said yes, the prisoners make goods that the government sell, slave labor. Yeah, and it's even deeper than that. It's so much more than just that. That is probably like a very surface portion of it. There's so much more going on. But I'm going to get into that. Let me go ahead and play a quick timer. It's going to be a quick 2-minute timer. And then we're going to get into some feelings, and respecting folks' feelings. Because I did watch Tiff P. I absolutely love her. I told y'all that I have unsubbed from a few of y'all. It's not everybody, but there are some folks that I just don't want to discuss this stuff with. But I will listen to some of you. I've been around y'all for a couple of years, and there's some of y'all I really, really respect your opinions. And Tiff P is one of those people. So shout out to her. And I was listening to the show, as I've listened to her, Dee Darrell, and a couple others. But anyway, I did listen to Tiff's last show, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. But let me go ahead and play you guys a quick 2-minute timer so that we can get into that. So before I get deep into this, I'm actually going to play you guys, or actually read to you guys one of my favorite crystals, and why I think it's just quickly important to use that. Just because of what's happening around us, I do think that we should be fortifying ourselves. For those of you who are into crystal usage, yeah, definitely get into fortifying yourself with crystals. But my one of my crystals that I do use, which is my birthstone, is diamond. Most of you know that I was born in April, and so diamond is my birthstone. And rough diamonds look very different from their jewelry counterparts because they have not been cut or polished. Okay, so you want to get a rough diamond if you can, but if you want to, those to me seem like they're the most powerful. Okay, but if they're polished, it's fine. But rough diamonds are translucent and they may be found in many colors, such as white, black, gray, or even yellow diamonds. They tend to be very small and expensive. Also, diamonds, regardless of color, are essentially used in the same way. So, colored diamonds sold as jewelry are often created or enhanced in some manner. Okay, so usually when you buy a diamond at the jewelry store, it's been enhanced, it's been changed in some kind of way. Now, what you want to do for primary uses for diamonds in regards to crystal usage is diamonds provide purification and cleansing. They also support abundance and they amplify energy, aid in connection to higher self, and heals the aura. Okay. It's one of and considered one of the clear quartz. So it's not the highest clear quartz, but it is considered one. So you can actually place it directly touching the crown chakra. You can also wear it as a necklace or earrings and carry it in your pocket, any kind of wear you want to, wear a diamond ring, that kind of thing. And I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys as a quick 101 for crystals. I've got a funny tweet for you guys from President Biden, okay, which I thought I just had to share with y'all because this was just too freaking funny, okay? Now, I am not a fan of Joe Biden. I think y'all know that by now. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny what he said. And I thought I wanted to share this with y'all. Okay. So he said, my message to companies running gas stations and setting prices at the pump is simple. This is a time of war and global peril. Bring down the prices you are charging at the pump to reflect the cost you're paying for the product and do it now. So some of the responses were, thank you, President, for this tweet, Mr. President. My local gas station dropped all their prices $2 instantly because they had your tweet notifications on. Another person said, even the person who wrote this tweet knows it's complete BS and gas stations don't control what they are ultimately can't charge. Another person said, now, US President finally realized that capitalism is all about exploitation. He didn't believe this before. So that's just some of the comments that I had to say. I just thought that was too funny of the president. This he just felt like saying that across Twitter was going to somehow make them just bring down their prices just instantly like that. Like, what is going on, sir? Anyway, I am very excited about Tiff P's show. I really like her channel, guys. Make sure that you guys are checking her out. She really has a well rounded show. A lot of times, there's a lot of things that may be said that may feel controversial to people. But one thing about me is I always like someone who, will give their opinion respectfully, and they're not disrespectful about it. They understand life happens. They understand that things, happen in life, and that, and then they could be fair and honest with their approach to people. So that's something that I really support about Tiff P is that she can be fair and honest about her approach to situations. She's not, over the top trying to overly judge someone. She gets, that life is happening at the same time while we're even here on YouTube interacting with people and different things like that. And I appreciate that about her. We don't agree on everything, but we definitely I can see eye to eye with her about a lot of things. So one of the things that was mentioned on the show last night was, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything. I'm just going to say that one of the things that was mentioned on the show was how, well, I'll say that I have to say who was it was because shout out to Carrie Ann because I get it. But one of the things that was mentioned was how Carrie Ann responded to a couple of people in the sector regarding whatever they were talking about. And here came somebody else in the sector who had an opinion on how she should respond because this person is this way. You know what I mean? Or this person is that way. And that's kind of been the issue in the sector. Like if if there's somebody who is uncomfortable with how someone has reacted to them or someone has said, well, I'll just say this, if somebody is uncomfortable with how somebody is behaving towards them in the sector, and if they have a reaction to that person, or if they say something, here comes a group of people that feel like they need to jump on to the aid of the person who's actually disrespecting, in the first place. So they'll say something to the person who's responding to the person as if they have no right to respond to what someone is saying to them. So I think that's where the issue comes in this sector. It's like, where do people just have the right to be themselves and say how they feel about something without somebody else trying to explain away why somebody else did something to them? Like, it's not your place to do that all the time. It's not necessary for your opinion about somebody and why they're doing something. It's not always necessary. You could just sit back in the clouds and listen like everybody else or watch like everyone else. Your opinion of why somebody's doing something is not always needed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because people have the right to react to people the way that they choose to. And it's not, people got to stop thinking that people have to react in order to please the sector or in order to please certain people within the sector. People just need to let people be themselves because we are adults. You understand what I'm saying? And I need people to stop policing people and how they feel and what they feel and why they shouldn't feel this way and what they need to do, in response. If that's how you're going to feel or if how you feel you would respond, then so be that, but everyone else does not have to do that. And I respected that part of what Tiff was saying because that is so true. And that is what I've been trying to tell this one person. You know, it's not that I don't like you or, or whatever, or I think you shouldn't have an opinion about things. It's literally, I get tired of you telling me how I should be responding to things or how I should be doing things. When the things that you're saying aren't even, number one, they're not relevant to the situation. And number two, you're not even in those shoes. You understand what I'm saying? So I need you to stop being the outsider looking in, telling me how I should respond to something because your observation of this person who I may be in this conflict with is this, and this is how I should observe it as well. That's not the case. People should be able to be themselves. And that's the issue here in this sector. People are not allowed to just be themselves. It has to be an echo chamber. It has to be a monolith. Everyone has to be following the same exact rules and the same exact ways. And that is the issue. So shout out to Tiff P for shouting that out, for pointing that out, and for helping some folks understand that. And if they didn't understand that, hopefully they'll start understanding that now, and they'll get why people might react to them a certain way. You know what I mean? They may not be reacting to them. You know, people might be reacting to you in a way that you feel is like, oh well, they just don't like that I'm just brash and that I'm just open and upfront. Adults are brash and open and upfront, but adults also know when their space or when their place is. They know when it's necessary. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not always necessary to speak your speech and speak your mind about someone else's situation or about someone else's opinion. It just isn't. and adults know how to decipher when their opinion is needed and when their opinion is not. And if you don't, then perhaps you should learn from those who do, or perhaps you should just sit back and chill and not say anything for a while, because again, your opinion is not always necessary. But shout out to y'all. You said, oh, let me go back a little bit. You guys are still talking about that. You said, yes, the prisoners make. Oh, okay, we talked about that already. Hey, A Hill, you said, did you know there was a philanthropic initiative to seed Black women as prosecutors? Yes, and we could get into that one day too. I think that I don't even think it's just the prosecutors part. I think it was the Supreme Court and everything. But yeah, there's a lot with that too. A certain type, a certain type. Yeah. Um, you said Kamala Fox, Gardner Mosby. That initiative did not go well. Okay. You said that guy's a nutter. You said the role of influencer has been shaped into an overseer almost. How about that? And it's something that people do think that this kind of role of being an influencer and being someone who um, kind of leads the people, is really what people just kind of really take as someone that's leading them, you know, which is crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to bring all of that up. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out to everyone who, as always, has been catching the replays, and those of you who are in the clouds. Also, make sure that you do check out A Shout Into the Void. I've got some great things happening on A Shout Into the Void. So does Drea. We've got some short stories. She does some. I also do some. I've got one short story I've been working on that will be up this week. I'm going to put it out on my members only here on Black Lounge first, and then I'm going to release it to the podcast by the weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, we have a lot of other things happening with the podcast as well. So make sure that you guys are checking out the podcast. Again, I really appreciate you. Hey, TMK, I appreciate you being in the building. Shout out to you. So make sure that you guys do check that out. I'm going to go ahead and end the show now. But again, I really appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Also, there is a bio link on our Instagram. So if you hit that, you can click into any of the podcasts across all podcasts. We're on Apple, Chromecast, Spotify, you name it, Peapod. We're on everything. Okay, so go ahead and get on that. And you can go ahead and click that link and you'll be able to be right into it. I'm also going to put a link to it here in this description box. All right, guys. So I will talk to you guys later. Peace, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in.
with me.